Am I the asshole for putting a budget on my mom's birthday gift? Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Don't Go Broke Trying. I am your host, Reni, and this is our Coinfessions episode. On our Coinfessions episode, if you don't know, these are basically episodes where my guests and I will answer your questions or questions that are submitted from Reddit or that we found on Reddit. So if you have a question for us about any topic about relating to finance, obviously, then make sure to email us at dgbt@renytheresource.com and we will have your question answered on the podcast. So today, all of the questions are going to be centered around budgeting and building wealth. And this is because we are speaking with with Forever Mrs. Budget. And her name is Natalie, actually, but her Instagram name is Forever Mrs. Budget. So welcome, Natalie.
Thanks, Reni, for having me.
My pleasure. So, we just wrapped up an episode where we spoke all about Natalie's journey going from being in debt to now building generational wealth for her children. So, I hope that you will listen to that. And she talked about budgeting and how that has helped her. So, that's why we're going to be focusing on budgeting for this episode. So, are you ready to get into these confessions?
Oh, yes, I am.
Natalie always comments on our confessions and she gives her take, and I love them whenever she comments. So I'm excited to hear her take on some of these. So we have about 5 of them. And do you want to give a brief intro of yourself just before we start?
So I'm Natalie, Forever Mrs. Budget, Instagram, and I talk about motherhood and building wealth for my kids and giving tips for personal finance.
Perfect. Yeah. So make sure you follow her. I will leave all her information in the show notes. So let's get into the first confession. Am I the asshole for putting a budget on my mom's birthday gift? I'm in a burnout situation and I'm out of work per the doctor's order. I'm still waiting for my governmental income help until I get back on my feet and get back into work, which won't be until late August. Because of the pandemic, the government takes a lot more time to approve the request for monetary help, and so I'm being careful on how much I spend weekly since I don't have a lot saved up. Recently, it was my mom's birthday, and although couldn't really afford to get her anything, I redid my budget and I could find a way to at least get her a little something. I drove to her place, which is 2 hours away, and it cost me $60 of fuel. And I told her I would take her out for dinner, but that I could only get her a $20 gift dish. I made sure to explain my situation and said that I was sorry and that I would make it up to her once I am in a better financial position. The whole time at the restaurant, my mom and her partner kept making jokes about me putting a dollar limit on her birthday dinner. They kept laughing about it and jokingly saying how cheap of me it was. It got to the point where I genuinely wanted to cry and felt like I was an asshole for doing that. I got some stares from other customers sitting at other tables, and I felt very ashamed of myself. They even talked about it on the way back, and overall, I felt like my gesture was not at all appreciated. I was only doing my best to show my mom how appreciative I was of her, even though I couldn't afford anything fancy. I once went no contact with her for a year after she spoke down on me, and I'm heavily considering doing the same now. But before I make any harsh decisions, I want to know if I was the asshole in that story. So, am I the asshole for putting a budget on my mom's birthday gift?
Absolutely not. No, no. I have so many thoughts on this one. Oh, I would have made it such a good comment if you when you posted. First of all, the budget would have been $0. I wasn't going.
Yeah.
I wasn't driving 2 hours to be laughed at with no.
Yeah.
None of that was happening.
Okay.
That year would have been extended into 5 years and I would have saved so much money. No, definitely not the asshole.
Hmm.
I can see, just by hearing the question, it sounds obviously like they have a strained relationship
Yeah.
a little bit.
Hmm.
And she's just trying to do her best in the situation that she has. But it sounds like she could have needed that $60 of gas and that
100%.
$20 for dinner. And obviously, her meal costs something too. So another $20 right there.
Hmm.
And to just ridicule your own child
Yeah.
on your birthday and I just wouldn't want to be in that situation at all. It's
Mm-mm.
so negative and toxic and like you try so hard to do well and you try so hard to do something nice for somebody who is your mother of
Yeah.
all people, like it's not a friend, but that whole experience now is sitting with you, bothering you, stressing you out because you did try your best and it was met with ridicule and laughter and embarrassment
Yeah.
overall, and definitely not the asshole.
That's all. You're
No,
not the
no.
asshole, please.
Someone else at the table was the asshole.
Two assholes,
Two
actually.
assholes at the table.
Yeah, there were two of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
With for me, I'm saying, yeah, you're not the asshole at all, and you're actually trying to be financially smart with your money,
Yep.
and you had a set budget for this activity that you wanted to do. The fact that you're even still doing something nice for her while you are not working you at all is
Yeah.
like showing that okay, like she should at least appreciate the gesture, you know.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
in my personal opinion, you are not the asshole. And I think we spoke about this in the other episode where we said that it's important who you surround yourself
Oh,
with, right?
definitely. Yeah.
Because if I knew my friend was trying to get her governmental assistance, she couldn't get it yet, and she wanted to take me out for lunch, I'd be like, "Girl, you do not have to do that."
Friend,
Like,
your mother, your mother. No.
I'd be like, "Girl, please,
No. Just come
come
to the house. Let's hang
exactly."
out. Let's spend time together. No, that wouldn't have
At
happened.
all. Yeah.
No.
So I would say this your mother is the asshole.
Your mother is the asshole.
No, that sounded really bad. That sounded really
I said it.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, she's doing the most, and maybe yeah, consider you maybe no contact isn't necessary for this, but you don't need to spend your money on her. You're also only 23, baby girl. Like, come on. Like, you don't need to be it's okay. It's okay. Your mom will be okay if you don't buy her the $20 meal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's read some of the comments. So someone said, not the asshole. Your mom focused on a dollar amount when she should have focused on spending time with you. She made the meal a chore and blamed you. Your mental health matters. Do what's best for you. Good luck. And then another person said, not the asshole. Your gesture was nice. She agreed to the budget, and instead of being appreciative, she shat all over it. Gosh, she had some other options too. She could have contributed over the $20 if she wanted something else. Um, yeah. So yeah, I think we're all in
I think we're all
agreement.
in agreement
Yeah,
on that one.
that your
Yeah.
mother is the asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next coinfession. Am I the asshole for not budgeting the same way as my fiance while we are saving for a house? My fiance and I are saving money to buy our first home. We have been saving for about 6 months now. We both make decent money and our salaries are almost identical, but still keep most of our finances separate for now and split our expenses 50-50. I'm sure that that will change after we get married, but for now, this is what works for us. My fiance has always been more of a money saver than I am, and he saved up a good chunk to put towards a down payment. He recently asked how much I have saved, and he got upset when I told him I haven't even saved half of what he has. He also got upset with me when I tried to explain myself. I like taking care of myself, whether this is a massage, a mani pedi, getting my nails done. I love pampering myself. Due to COVID, I couldn't do a lot of that stuff at an actual salon or spa, so I purchased a bunch of stuff so I could do it at home. Some of this was quite expensive because I like to have high-end products, but it was still comparable to what it would cost to get it professionally done. Now that things are opening up more where we live, I've been starting to get my hair and nail done professionally, and I've bought some day packages at spas. I also really enjoy shopping. But since I couldn't do that in person either, I did a lot of online shopping. My fiance thinks I need to take our saving more seriously. He said he's cut back on a lot of his spending on this as he on things he enjoys and thinks I should do the same. He said he's cut back on his hobbies and even stopped a couple of them to save more. He said he feels a little taken advantage of, that he's saving so much more than me. He said my inability to save money is going to delay when we can buy a house. I told him it doesn't have to delay anything if he just puts more towards the down payment, since it's going to be our house together, anyways. He told me I should cut back on some of my pampering because that is a huge expense that is easy to cut back on and could really bump up my saving ability. I told him I will not give up taking care of myself, and I told him it's a jerk move on his part to expect me to give up something I take so much pleasure in. He eventually came clean to me that this is making him second guess our relationship and making him wonder if we truly share the same priorities. He said that it seems like I say one thing to his face and make it seem like we agree, and then go and do something completely opposite. I think he's overreacting, and if it takes us a little longer to save for a house, that's not a big deal to me. So, am I the asshole for budgeting this? So, am I the asshole for not budgeting the same way as my fiance while we are saving for a house?
Yes. Sorry. Oh my goodness. So much there.
So many
There's
assholes here.
so
Yeah.
many assholes there. I don't want to say she's an asshole, but the communication part of her not saying anything, that's the asshole
Yeah.
move right there.
Yeah.
This is a person you want to marry and you're buying a house with. There has to be some honesty and communication. And if you can't trust the person to know that they're doing the same thing that you guys said you were going to do,
Exactly.
then the trust gets, diminished. And he has a valid point
Yeah.
at the end of the day. Yeah, you want to take care of yourself, but the goal was to save for the house.
Yeah, and you
So
agreed to it.
you agreed to it.
Like if you couldn't do it from the beginning, then you should have expressed that, and
Yeah.
then maybe he could put in more towards the house. But the fact that she said, "Oh, it's okay, you can just put more towards the house," like,
No.
and
Oh my God. Then it would be my house.
yeah,
You would not be living
yeah,
there.
right. She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, but we're getting married anyway, so it's our money together." But no, you're not pulling your weight.
No,
So,
exactly.
and it's not like she's not pulling her weight for us. Well, I guess pampering yourself is valid, but
Yeah.
like you could cut down. You could get your nails done once a month rather than every 2 weeks, for
Yeah.
example. Like things
And it's
like
only
that.
it's only temporary.
Yeah,
Like
that
that,
too.
like you really need to reflect on. It's just until you have the amount and then you
Hmm.
buy the house and then you can go back to your regular pampering and self-care.
Yeah, when you so budgeting in relationships, how is that for you? Like, is were you guys on the same page when you said I want to start budgeting, I want to get on track with our finances? Like, were you guys on the same page or?
Yes, in a sense where I am basically in charge of the budget and
Mhm.
he's just being open and honest about his income and finances.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess the
But
difference is
about
he's open and honest, right?
yeah.
She's not so open and honest.
But for him to sit there and do the bills, no, no,
No.
no. That's my thing. Yeah.
Okay. So I think yeah, one partner is probably going to be better with the money than other. Typically, like there's always one person who has the strength in it,
Yeah.
but both people have to be willing to communicate and open and not
Be honest.
lie. Like,
Yeah.
why are you
I
lying,
really like
girl?
I think that whole problem could have been avoided and solved if maybe every month they just sat down. Where are we?
Mm,
What did I put in? What did you put in? Where are we at?
good point.
Where are we gonna reach the goal? How's
Yeah.
it looking? And like to the point where she's only did half, there's a big gap there and where they didn't really
Yeah.
talk about it or
Yeah.
he was just very trusting, which
Yeah.
he should be. Obviously, it's his fiance,
I would
but
hope you can
definitely
trust
need to
them.
check in on the plan and the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have regular check-ins for when you have financial goals with
Oh,
your partner?
definitely.
Yeah.
Like when we were saving for the condo, it was
Mhm.
every month to see where the money was and what we're doing
Yeah.
every month. Yeah.
Yeah, so red flag, big
Red
red
flag.
flag. I honestly, I totally understand why he's basically reconsidering the relationship
Yeah.
because this is a big red
This is
flag. The fact that she said, what did she say? If it takes us a little longer to save for a house, that's not a big deal to me. But house prices literally raise every day.
every day, every year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the difference between buying a house this year versus next year can be
You'll
a
be living in a
huge.
different city.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could
that
be
could be
living
the result.
instead of the city, you could be in the village, you know? So
Definitely somewhere.
yeah, so I think in this case you're an asshole, the asshole. Sorry about it. Okay, so here are some comments. Wait. You told him it will be all fine because he can just put more money towards the down payment. You are the asshole. Well, I absolutely do not agree that he can tell you what to spend your money on. You both contribute 50-50 to all expenses, and that should apply to the cost of the down payment. The fact that he's questioning things is because he's probably feeling taken advantage of when he's been sacrificing things for himself to ensure a future for the both of you. You two need to sit down and make a plan of how much you should be expected to save and how you're going to get there. Yeah. It's just open, honest communication. But the
Definitely.
fact that she doesn't think she's an asshole for this is also confusing me,
Yeah.
right?
It's like what?
You don't, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah. On to the next one. And everyone, if you have an opinion about these topics, you can go on Twitter and use the hashtag DGBTpod and then give your take on each situation. We love to hear from you. Okay, next Coinfession. This is a writer write in. So someone said, "Hi, Reni. Do you have any practical advice on budgeting? For example, people say housing costs shouldn't be more than 30% of your income. But what about budgeting for people when their housing is 50% of their income? What do you suggest?" So I'll throw it over to you instead of me.
I
'Cause-
guess suggest don't look at those numbers.
yeah.
Personal finance is personal. It's a general rule of thumb, but okay, it's at 50%. That's what you can afford. As long as I think you're saving money, investing, you're not overdoing it, or you're not putting yourself further and further into debt,
Mhm.
then I don't see the issue with it being 50% of
Mhm.
your income. People be like, "Oh, that's so much," but housing is so expensive,
Yeah.
and where you want to live, it's where you live and it makes you happy. And if you're staying there for the long term, then okay, it's not always going to be 50% of your income. It's going to go down.
Mhm. Yeah, we don't want you to be house poor, obviously. Like that's
Obviously,
a
yeah,
thing. But
no.
if you live in Toronto, for example,
Yeah,
it's
it may
honestly
be 50%, 60% of your income, like
yeah,
depending where
honestly.
you live.
I
Yeah,
think in this case, I would suggest the zero but base budget method.
definitely. Yeah,
So instead of just saying, okay, 50% has to be the like following the rules that someone else has ascribed, you can use the zero based budget method. And okay, now 50% of your income is going to this. It's a fixed expense. You can't change it. But what is the other 50% going to? And you
yeah,
determine what it's going to by allocating every single dollar of that remaining 50%. So
right.
10% of that is going to my tithes. The other 10% is going to my groceries each month, but the other 10% is going to this. And and at least some of it has to be going to your investing or saving each
Definitely.
month. But
Yeah.
I think the rules that we see from a lot of finance gurus are just that. They're just
They're
made up
just general
general,
rules,
yeah.
really. I mean, if you can get your housing costs down to 35%, I'm 100% sure you wouldn't be living where you are. It would be in a
Hmm.
very smaller location.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah. And another thing I would say is we mentioned this in the past episode, but honestly, the best way um to manage or to get that down to 50% to 30% would be to increase your
definitely. Yeah,
income.
that's the
So
best way.
pick up a side hustle or
Get
get a
that
new
raise.
job, get a
Yeah,
raise at your current job,
yeah.
negotiate your salary. Like there are so many different ways that you can
Bring that.
increase your income. And then, but remember, when you increase your income, that doesn't mean you have to increase your
Exactly.
expenses. Okay,
Exactly.
like don't be like, oh,
Exactly.
I got a $30,000 raise, and then you go increase your living costs again,
Yeah.
and now you're at that 50% again.
Yeah.
So make sure that or try to increase your income, but keep your expenses low because lifestyle creep is a real thing.
Definitely.
Yeah. Any other tips?
No, I think those are like excellent tips right there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Next confession. Am I the asshole for telling my stay at home wife that she needs to start making a detailed budget of expenses? My wife stays at home with our daughter and has taken over buying all the household items from me because she says I spend too much money on them. For about a year, she has been buying the goods for their house and would spend a mysterious amount of money and then complain that she had no money left in the next month. It's not a small amount that she gets each month to pay for the expenses, and even with the costs rising, I can't imagine that she is spending all of it where there is nothing left over. A couple months ago, we had an argument over why she has no money left over at the end of the month and how things can be so expensive. The end of it was that she needs to start making a proper itemized budget for a couple of months so we can see where all the money is going. I didn't ask for anything crazy. Just go to Excel, pick one of the family budget templates, and fill it in properly and keep track of your expenses. She got indignant about the idea that she that she would have to make a budget, then sent me a picture from her notepad of on the phone with random spans of numbers put in for things like food, utilities, etc. And since then, she has refused to even entertain the idea of making a budget. While I don't have an issue with buying all the daily necessities, nor do I have an issue with her buying them, my issue is the missing money. She gets the equivalent of almost $2,000 a month. What?
I can't.
What's she buying? Okay, she gets the equivalent of almost $2,000 a month for expenses, but can only account for about $800 to $1,000. The above argument came from her saying I spend too much on my lunch and snacks, but she can't account for so much money. So, am I the asshole for wanting my wife to make a budget because I don't know where nearly $1,000 a month is being spent or what she is doing with it?
I want to say yes and no
Okay.
for this one.
Okay.
No, you're not an asshole for wanting to know where your money's going,
Mhm.
but yes, because you why can't you do it yourself?
True.
So,
But
or together.
I think the wife wanted to take over from
So she
him.
wanted to take, but the fact that he told her to get the Excel, put it
Oh,
all in
yeah.
there is, I find him feeling like, well, why can't you do it? But for a tip for that
Mhm.
is, there's so much new apps out there and bank accounts out there that you wouldn't have to wonder where your money's going because
Yeah.
you can just log in and see. If they're on a cash budget, then of course, where's it going? Let me see the receipts and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But sit down and talk about it. This can be done with communication, switching banking apps, or
Hmm.
downloading a banking app. Like
Yeah.
if they're using the same debit card or have the same account, you can see where the money's
Everything.
going. You
Yeah.
can check and make the Excel yourself or do it together. Just
Yeah.
sit down, do it together, talk about it, find out what's going on, and go from there.
Yeah.
Just
But to me, it sounds like she's being a little shady. No? Do you not get that
I
vibe?
get that's why I was like, yes, and like I see that maybe she doesn't want to do it. She's not accounting for some of the money. Yeah,
Yeah.
something's not going on there.
Because
She should know where the money is going.
yeah, because
That's a lot.
it seems like she can account for $800 to $1,000, but not the other 1,000.
Like
So
where's that money?
where is it
Where did
going?
it go?
Yeah.
Does she have a bank account?
I feel like they should, as you said, they should have a joint bank account.
Yeah,
And then from that joint bank account, he can see exactly where the money is going, right?
definitely. Yeah.
But I feel like in my opinion, I feel like there's something shady going on. Like, I feel like
Like, is she saving it and
like,
investing? Like,
like
maybe that's her money
maybe
and
it's her
she
Vex
invests in
money.
it.
Maybe it's her
Yeah.
Vex money. Like, like
She has it in her savings account and it's
yeah.
growing.
But then she should be able to tell him,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, definitely.
Like,
Oh,
I
well, that's
think
where it's going.
I think that's
Yeah.
the issue. It's because we actually did an episode on financial abuse, and if you haven't listened to it, it's 2 episodes before this. But we did an episode of financial abuse where the expert recommended that women save a little bit of money for themselves on the side, which I totally agree
I
with.
agree.
But I feel like in this situation, maybe that's what she's doing. She's like
Yeah.
starting a fund to like leave it or
Or
something.
maybe she's like saving for herself
Yeah.
or something,
Which
or
is fine,
investing,
which
which
is
is absolutely fine. But you
encourage. We
should be
encourage it. Yeah.
able to talk to your
Your
spouse
partner,
about that, your partner
unless
about
he's
that.
I don't know, maybe something's going.
I don't know.
Yeah. So in my opinion, I think that they need to have an honest conversation,
Yeah.
and they need to figure out a way that they can share finances in a more transparent way,
Oh yeah,
basically.
definitely.
Yeah. How do you and your husband, I think you said you manage everything, but
Yes, but it's very transparent.
Mhm.
We have a joint spending account. So
Okay.
if he went out and bought something right now, I would get an alert on my phone saying
Mhm.
he bought this, and
Mhm.
I can log into it and see where the money went and
Yeah.
what's happening, and makes it easier. Just be honest and transparent, and you trust your partner and you love your partner, and it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know that was my thought too. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's no reason for her not to be able to account for it,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
unless
That's a lot of money.
she's like specifically
Hiding it.
like she's taking it out in
Yeah.
cash and then she's spending it on whatever she wants.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's giving red flag to me.
That one's giving red flags, definitely.
Yeah, but maybe maybe I'm gonna see it from the other point of view, devil's advocate, as they say. She is a stay-at-home mom with no income of her own.
Right.
So as we said, she may be like funneling this money into her savings account or investing account. So should she have to account for like having to account every single dollar to your partner? Is that normal? Like, is that
Well, no, but at least say that's what you're doing,
true? Like,
right?
yeah,
Like, this is what I'm spending and this is what I'm saving.
yeah,
I think just the conversation needs to happen just to be
yeah.
open and communicate about it. And if she is putting that money aside for herself, he should not have an issue with that.
No, he shouldn't.
That's, she's a stay-at-home mom. She's doing everything. So
Yeah.
he shouldn't have an issue with that.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's read some comments. Not the asshole. I have a feeling she is hiding something. If she doesn't want to make the budget, tell her to simply save all the receipts and you go through them and then you can do the budget.
Yeah.
This may give her a little wake up call on the spending because she won't be able to hide it and it will look more like you are offering to help even if it pisses her off a little bit. So that's kind of what you were saying. Where like,
Yeah.
why doesn't he just do it?
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Another person said, not the asshole. If you are the sole breadwinner, and paying for everything with her complaining, with her complaining she needs more money, then yes, you have a right to know where the money is going, especially so you can work out something out to give her more if more is really needed. Yeah, I guess every single person is saying not the asshole. So
I agree. I mean, she should know where his money's going.
yes, she should.
As the breadwinner, he should know everything as well.
Yeah. Okay. On to the next one. We have a few more.
All right.
This one's an interesting one. Okay. Am I the asshole for making a budget to show my niece how hard it would be if she married her fiance? My niece is engaged to her new boyfriend. They have been dating for 4 months and she is just 19. My brother told her that he will stop funding her life if she marries him. My niece is pretty spoiled. She visited me last week. I think she thought I would be supportive because I was also cut off because I refused to divorce my wife. She was telling me who she knew she was telling me that she knew it would be difficult to marry him, but she would manage because she loved him. I asked her if she had a budget. She said she didn't. I offered to help her make one, and she was enthusiastic. She didn't know how much he made, and when she texted him about it, he was being shady and not responding.
Oh man.
So I assumed he would make $16 per hour and work 12 hours per day for 6 days and $10,000 in tips a year. And I assumed she would work the same and make the same amount. I then showed her how much things will actually cost and budget those figures in. I also emphasized that these were very generous assumptions on my part and it is a rosier picture than reality. It still meant she would have to make substantial changes to her lifestyle, and I think it dawned on her how drastically different it would be to date someone without money and be actually married to them. She asked me how we made it work, and I told her that my wife and I had sat down for hours preparing budgets and getting ready to be cut off, and we were cut off in our early 30s and already had our two great careers and received other inheritances, which had helped immensely. She was sober and serious when she left my house. She broke up with him and has moved back home. It appears she asked him about his salary and it was even lower than my assumptions, and that freaked her out and she broke up with him. She is upset and she said that I scared her and she really misses him. My wife said that I was a bit manipulative with my assumptions as I did know they were more generous than normal and she would freak out when she tried to make a real budget. I didn't know that it doesn't mean I did know that it does make me feel bad a bit. I feel like I played her here. So, am I the asshole for making a budget to show my niece how hard it would be to be married to her fiance?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Uh yes, it's not your business in a sense. Kind of overstepping. Did she ask? That like
doesn't
I
seem like it.
doesn't seem like she asked
No,
for you to do that and
no.
step in, and I think at a certain point, I mean, she's 19. I think if you already gave her the tools, let her do it.
Yeah.
Like let her learn basically a hard lesson.
Hmm.
Now no one wants to do that. No one wants to see their niece or their daughter, whatever, learn that hard lesson, but kind of manipulating her and showing her things
Yeah.
that may or may not even happen, it doesn't really give her the opportunity to learn for herself or
Yeah.
work it out with her fiance themselves,
Yeah.
right? I I don't know the whole situation. It's kind of like, am I the asshole? I mean, no, you kind of you want. It seems like obviously good intentions were
Hmm.
there, and
For
you
sure.
wanted to show your niece, well, you have to budget and look at it this way, and this is life. Like, there's good intentions there, but the niece also needs to learn on her own. I think
Yeah.
a little bit.
From from my point of view, I feel like I'm with you. Like I'm on the fence. Like
Yeah,
you are the asshole a little bit, but you also gave her a reality check that she
yeah,
may have needed, and she would have had to experience it herself. And especially because she's very spoiled now, going from like spoiled to broke,
yeah,
basically, she would have had a real reality check. The fact that
yeah.
she broke up with him over this shows that she's not mature enough
No,
to to
she definitely
to
wasn't
handle
ready.
that. Yeah.
No, she definitely wasn't
Yeah,
ready.
like
Yeah,
I feel like me at 19, what did I know?
I knew
Like
nothing. Oh,
zero, zero.
nothing.
I thought I knew
Oh yeah.
everything, but I did not know
Yeah.
anything. So I would say that baby girl, okay, you're kind of the asshole because you overinflated the numbers and knowing that they would, she would, and she was even scared by those overinflated numbers.
Yeah.
Right? But honestly, I feel like she did need the reality check a little.
Yeah.
Is it your place? I don't know, but I would be grateful for that reality check, I think.
I think it's
Like
a nice
in hindsight.
intention
Yeah.
to do, but it seems like so much overstuff. I think
Yeah.
I think she could have learned
Herself.
herself and then maybe help her with the lesson that she learned.
Like how though? After they're
Like
married.
talking with her fiance and figuring out, like, she doesn't even know how much he makes, and
Yeah.
they have stuff to talk about and
Yeah.
stuff to learn. Like, I think when you learn things for yourself, it puts it in a whole new perspective
Very
than
true.
someone, trying to help you learn it and show you.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good learning opportunity for her to be out there and be on her own and stuff like that. But the whole budget and sitting down,
Yeah.
I just and making up numbers.
Yeah.
It wasn't even accurate. Like it's
Yeah.
not. The fiance wasn't even there. I just felt like if they were gonna help,
Mm.
maybe have the fiance there and her there, and they all
Yeah.
sit down and do it together.
I agree. So a nicer way for him to do it could have been, okay, one, if he wanted to do it alone with her, he could have
Yeah,
said, "Oh, have you ever tried budget? Like, do you know
yeah,
about budgeting?" And maybe explain how he budgets. And then maybe that will put something into her mind that maybe she'll try and budget by herself and then
yeah,
she'll figure it out. Or the opposite way could have been to bring both of them, as you said, sit
yeah,
them down and say, "Hey, I know you two want to get married. I'm so happy for you. Are you guys financially ready to get married?
yeah,
I know I don't want to overstep, but I want to tell you how hard it was for us when we got married. So let me show you my budget." Like,
yeah. Like something like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
that would work.
but just going to her separately,
Yeah,
it looks a little shady.
yeah,
Yeah. But of course it's her that's his niece, right?
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, a tad
A
manipulative.
tad. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Here are some comments. Not the asshole. You didn't play her. You gave her a badly needed dose of reality. You showed her how to make a budget, which gave her a rosy picture of how her life would be with him financially. It was a much lower standard of living than she is used to. It forced her to look at the financial ramifications going forward if she stayed in that relationship. She decided that her standard of living was more important than love. Thanks for taking the time to explain to her how things work in the adult world. Fair enough, but
I guess.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but I don't know the fact that
Like
she,
they broke
yeah,
up.
that's
She's
the
not
thing.
even engaged anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the thing
yeah.
that's getting me. But like, again, the fact that she did break up with him over this is also
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
were you ready
Yeah, she
for
wasn't
this life?
ready. Yeah,
She probably would have
definitely.
divorced him when she figured out how much she made
Yeah.
after. So, and yeah, the fact that she didn't even know that how much he made before they got married.
Red flag.
Red flag.
Red flag.
Red flag. Red flag. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to find someone who says that they are the asshole, but everyone says he's not the asshole. Yeah, everyone says he's not. Okay, here's one person. I will confidently say you are the asshole. By my math, the OP told a 19-year-old that a couple with zero kids couldn't comfortably live on $166,000 a year once you factor in overtime. Where did he get $166,000?
I don't know, but that
That's not
I don't know where are
accurate.
these numbers coming
That's not
from.
accurate.
Yeah.
This person, they're wrong. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. So he's the asshole. He's
Yeah.
not the asshole. Most people say not the
Oh,
asshole.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Last confession. This one is just a question about budgeting specifically. So, overwhelmed with budgeting. Feels like 95% of income goes to my bills. To make this long story short, I'm trying to fully figure out and understand the right way to budget. I live alone and I'm engaged to my fiance, so I want to get this down pat by while living by myself. Looking at my income versus expenses feels like 95% of it is going to bills, and still it's not enough. And then they give all their monthly bills, and basically they're paying for rent, tithes, emergency fund, gas, groceries, their water, their called phone bill, savings for date night, life insurance, auto insurance, and car payments. So that's $2,700 a month that they're paying, and they make $3,100 a month.
So that's her money that's just her bills?
Yeah,
And she makes $3,000 a month.
yeah,
$3,000 a
one
month.
$3,100 a month, and pays 2,700 for all those
So she's
bills.
left with $400 a
Yeah,
month.
and then she also said, here's my debt that's due monthly. So she has a secured credit card which she owes $200 on, a Walmart credit card which she owes $1,800 on, a Apple credit card which she owes $800 on, and student loans which are 4,800, but they're not due yet. So basically, their question is, overall, this is enough in my monthly budget to pay each month because she still has that $400 left over,
Right.
but I still feel overwhelmed as I'm not living below my means, or I can only afford to pay just the minimum on all my credit cards. Any advice will be helpful.
So definitely I think she has enough money to start getting rid of some of those cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'd start with one card. Like you have $400. I would do the minimum on the other cards and put a good chunk of the money on one of the cards
Hmm.
and keep track of all of it, like a debt payment planner, calculator, something like that. And if her fiance is her fiance,
Mm.
like this is what I said,
Yeah.
like you're, I mean, they're not married yet, but they're going to. And if she carries that debt into the marriage, it's now his debt.
Hmm.
So why not help each other out and
No.
get now
Yeah.
so that you guys start off the marriage with much less debt?
Hmm.
He can
Yeah.
help you pay for some of the credit cards and get right with your money before you guys get married.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a lot. Yeah, she can cut back or she can increase her income, but I feel that the fact that she has a fiance there, they should be on the same page and
Hmm.
wanting to better both of themselves. And
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the conversations we're having, it's like you need to communicate with
you
your
need to
partner.
communicate, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and help each other out. Like
Hmm.
I had the same situation, and before we got married, we helped each other with the debt, and it's put us in a much better position when we got married. So
Yeah.
definitely, she has money, of course, herself to start paying down good chunks of her debt, like
Hmm.
one at a time, and organizing them. But if her fiance has extra money too, it'd be much faster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I would say that maybe consider the avalanche method that you mentioned
yeah, definitely.
earlier. So if you did not listen to last episode, the avalanche method is essentially when you look at all of your debt and you pay off the highest interest one first, so that you are, highest interest means it will cost you the most money long term. So you pay off the highest ones first, and then you put as much money each month as you can towards the high interest debt. So that's what we would suggest. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
And always make sure you're putting the minimums towards the others just for your credit score. But yeah, try that. You also have a card note of $654
A
per
month?
month. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wait.
you could consider
The math is not sorry. The math is not mathing right
that's
now.
included in the 2,700.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was on top.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I
No.
was like, wait a second. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So I would say maybe you could, I feel like it's a high card note. No, $650.
That seems less than average in my opinion.
Okay.
That seems about right.
Okay.
But if you have a car why not use the car to make money?
Hmm.
That's always an avenue you can do.
Mhm.
Uh,
Uber, DoorDash.
Uber. Yeah, I know that's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to do that type of side hustle or whatever.
Mhm.
But again, I would reflect back with the fiance. Like, what's his income? What's his debt? Work together. It's both of you.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if they came together and were just like, let's work on this, like the debt avalanche, let's work on this credit card and this one, and let's improve our finances. It just benefits both of them and they build their credit together and it just puts them in such a better position when they're married. Like
Yeah.
get together and work at it and
Mhm.
get things done.
I just feel like this car is expensive.
I just feel no, that sounds totally normal to me with the interest rates right now, and I don't
Yeah.
know, with getting a car and
But then on top of that,
financing.
$284 for insurance every month. So the cost of the car is the $654
Yeah,
plus the
the 284
284 auto
plus
insurance
maintenance and gas.
plus
Yeah,
$120 for gas. So this is an expensive ass car.
yeah,
But I guess it depends where they live. Like if they live
yeah.
in Toronto, okay, whatever. I guess that the prices or Brampton because they have very expensive insurance rates.
And
I guess this is cheap for insurance
yeah,
for if they lived here.
let me just add again.
Yeah.
Does your fiance have a car? Can you guys go to one car?
Mm. That's a good point.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Go to one car.
Yeah.
Reduce all that. Like, say they go to one car, then you wouldn't have a 650 car note. Then your debt you'd be killing your debt so much faster
Yeah.
having all that extra money to
Yeah.
put towards your debt.
Because that's a huge chunk. Like
Yeah,
they also $50 for date night is one of them. Which
that sounds reasonable.
yeah, it's good. I was gonna.
Sounds really cheap
I
too.
think
Sounds
yeah.
really
I'm like, where do they live that they can
where
go?
are you going?
Because that's
I feel like that's like 2 meals at a burger joint. Like
yeah.
that's really low.
Yeah. Electricity 96.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think their phone is $84. feel like that could be lowered. No, like
No, that seems reasonable.
depending on in the States, I feel like they have cheap plans in the States.
Yeah, but
Mm?
it doesn't seem that bad.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Okay, so let's read comments. Someone said the car payment is a huge red flag. Get rid
Yeah.
of that and you'll feel rich.
Yeah, it's not as easy. What if for her work she has to
Yeah,
travel 2 hours? That's why I said
we need
like, does the
context,
fee
right?
like does the fiance have a car? Yeah.
Yeah. Someone said your insurance is also crazy. My commercial insurance for my truck is the same. I shop around for different insurance.
Yeah.
And then the original poster said the worst part is that I got this car 34 days ago from a dealership.
It's brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
maybe that's
Yeah,
what.
there you go.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Someone else said your car payment is far too much. Your car insurance is unreasonable and your rent is too high. You can't afford to tithe right now. That's a
That's a touchy subject.
controversial.
That's controversial. I didn't
Yeah.
even touch that one. I
Yeah.
said,
Let's
I'm not
let's
touching
let's
that.
just not
Let's not
just
go
not.
there. Yeah.
But they said you pay over $1,000 a month just to drive. And yeah, when you say it like that, like
Yeah. Just to drive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um yeah. My thought would be that you need to figure out this car situation. Do you need
Yeah.
a car? If you do you need this car that you currently have? If you do, is there a way to get your insurance lowered? You know, like
Like it does your fiance have a
yeah.
650 a month car? Like I just feel like when I hear things like this, like you guys are a team,
Hmm.
right? Your goal is to get married and to build together as a team. You don't have to start at marriage. You can start before marriage and build that way.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well, yeah, there were, yeah, I think this also increase your income.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
we keep
increase your
saying
income,
this. Budgeting is good, but
but
increasing
increase
your
your income.
income is better.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, both doing both
Do
is
both.
ideal.
Do both.
Yeah. Well, those are all the confessions that we had. Thank you so much for coming and talking to my audience. I appreciate you. Could you please plug yourself and tell people where to find you?
Well, thank you for having me, Reni. It was
My
fun.
pleasure.
And again, it's Forever Mrs. Budgeon. You can find me on Instagram.
Perfect. And I'll leave that link in the show notes and on the YouTube description box if you want to find Nathalie. So thank you for listening. If you want to have your confession read on a future episode, email us at dgbt@rennytheresource.com and we'll definitely get that answered for you. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you, or you will hear me in the next episode. Bye.